You can go ahead.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the USA College Curling Championship. We have Draw 3 coming up. I'm Will Trimble from RIT, here with my alternate, Cypress Kirk. Cypress, who do we have playing tonight?
Well, on sheet 1, we have MIT and Minnesota. I'm not sure what their actual name is, to be honest. Penn State and Toledo are on sheet 2. We have Michigan Tech and Nebraska on sheet 3. And Yale and RPI are both going to be on sheet 4 tonight.
Looks like we're just finishing up last shot, draw shots to figure out who has hammer. Once we figure that out, we'll let y'all know.
Kind of offended guys earlier today, and there was a little poll saying, who's the better Tiger? What do we call it? Princeton or RIT? Team? Y'all chose Princeton. Rude.
We'll show you who's the better Tiger here.
Look, I was just taking notes. I'm sitting in the warm room just staring at them for 2 hours, and it gets kind of awkward when they just make eye contact with me, and I'm like, I promise I'm just not just staring at you, I'm actually watching the game.
Mopping up sheets 2 and 3. Get that stone measured soon, I hope.
Okay, so this is my first time at Nationals. Will knows this, because he went last year. I stayed at home to get physical therapy. Color's already decided, right?
Yes.
How do they decide it? Or is just like, you're first in the league, therefore you're red. Congratulations.
I'm assuming it's randomized. I don't know. I do know they just assigned it such that we are not playing, like, we have 2 games on the same sheet. We aren't going to be the same color both times.
I see we've been locked in with Sam now. Sam.
Like a rubber room full of rats. Rats make me crazy.
No, what's driving me nuts is I think yellow and red are reversed from what I'm used to seeing. And so, like, I was writing down scores earlier to, like, put in my spreadsheet, right? And I'm like, wait, okay, they got this point. I'm like, wait a second. That's on the wrong side. So when... Can we put the thing up there?
All right, we've figured out hammer. Looks like all of your yellow teams have it for the first end. Oh, except for on sheet 3, it is the other way. Yellow through first.
Wasn't it yellow who threw first on all of them?
No, red through.
Oh, you know what? I just don't know colors. This will be great, guys. I will just say it's green when it's red. I'm not colorblind, but I don't know colors. I don't know how I got this far in my education. Are all of those right, though?
Don't think so. Who is... Nebraska's about... Nebraska does not have hammer.
Okay.
Michigan Tech has hammer.
You told me no.
I was wrong. Sorry. I just don't know how hammer works.
Sometimes it's like I don't know how curling works, and I've been playing it for years.
Looks like it was all people playing into the house for their first stones this game.
Oh no, on sheet 4 over there, we see someone just went for a guard. Whether that was intentional or not. Oh my god, wait, how close is it to the hug? Can you zoom in on that?
Sheet
4.
Alright. Getting you a good look at sheet 4. As
That red right there just barely crossed the hug.
and they got, looks like they're gonna have a good draw behind. Depends on how it will stick, see which one is closer.
Yeah, we'll find that out in the long run, assuming nothing gets taken out.
Bit of a hard transition there.
Not much going on, to be honest. The first end is always kind of boring because it's like,
Teams are just testing each other, feeling out, see who has what shots, how they like to play an end.
it's also the ice though.
Yeah.
Because, like, you'll start the end, and the ice is fine, you think, and then you throw, and it's completely different. Like, sometimes you think the ice will, like, take, what, 3.5, which is the normal weight for stones, and then all of a sudden, that just goes straight through the house. You're just standing there. The aggressive sweeping right off the bat for... No, that's not...
Yeah, that is Penn State.
Yeah, okay.
Who's James?
No, James was the one who was throwing.
Oh, okay, because James is known for his aggressive sweep.
Which team is it that just, like, yells so loud? Is it also Penn State?
Lots of
James.
teams yell.
Yeah, James yells.
Ah.
Nice.
I think I got stuck to him on the ice one time, and I was trying to hear, like, the skip call shots. And then he just starts yelling sweep. And so I'm standing there just kind of staring blankly until, like, the sweeping ends.
I always enjoyed at the RIT Bonspiel this year, we were playing against RPI, and their skip was yelling at us to sweep when we needed to sweep hard, just because we were only having 3 players, so the skip would come and help sweep.
Okay, but the RPI Bonspiel was a mess, because we had technically 3 teams from our RT?
The RIT Bonspiel, yeah, we had 2 RIT teams that only had 3 players, and then a split RIT Penn State team, again with only 3 players.
It was so messy, because we had 3 teams pull out, like, 3 days before the Bonspiel started. Because we're, like, trying to reach out to... I'm trying to reach out to them for a week. And then one of them contacts our president. And they're like, yeah, we're not going. And then the 2 others just kind of went no contact. Which is delightful, guys, I promise.
Everyone showed up in force for nationals, as you'd expect them to.
Imagine just, like, not showing up to nationals. You worked all this way to get in, you paid the expensive fee, but no.
We thought
just
it was
not gonna
next
go.
week, sorry.
So how are the games going? Who's
It's still early in the first end. We can go take a look at how all of them are going, starting out on sheet 1. Give me a moment, I'm learning how to operate this.
Oh yeah, this one's hard to see because there's just like the little corner of the American flag in the way.
It looks like Red has one in the center with 2 stones out front, sort of providing guard. Maybe you could get one through if you need it, as we'll see what they're about to do.
Ooh.
Just nicked that stone.
You think they were trying to thread the needle there? or
Yeah,
were
I think they were and just couldn't get it. We now look at sheet 2, if I can find where my cursor went.
Ooh, there goes Declan calling the shot.
And it has escaped me.
It's on the top screen.
It thinks the top screen is to the right, but so it wants to keep moving left.
We can see what happened on that shot on sheet 2. Oh, looks like there's a lot of stones still in play.
How far? Oh, I guess
Looks like,
sheet 1 has a lot of stones out of play.
looks like probably red sitting 4 from our angle.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, it depends on like where the back stone is. Ah, thank you, Sam.
Over on sheet 3, stones in the front of the house, but it looks like red is sitting 1.
Sorry.
Technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, technology.
As an unfortunate flash on that stone.
There we go.
Then over on our final sheet, sheet 4. Looks like they just finished or just had one out, but probably sitting 2 red, but very open for a takeout. If looks like.
You know, definitely up to red. You want to zoom out to see where the shots are going?
Our pros, look at that. You can also mess with the camera manually, you know, push it up and zoom out there.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to narrow this in to see all of the sheets down on the far end.
Oof, are we down to any of the skip stones yet?
Looks like we gotta be close. Counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red on sheet 5 or 6 red, so probably skip stones on every sheet.
Oh. Someone over there almost just fell in the center of the house.
That's one place you don't want to fall.
Wait, you're saying you don't want to knock all of the stones out of play, just completely invalidate that?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Wait, what would, like, how would that work? Like, logistically in a game if that happened?
It's a question for the head umpire.
Sounds like we would use the spirit of curling.
The spirit of curling. Yes.
Yeah, we do not mind commentating, it's fun.
You guys want to look at the roster? There's some people in the middle.
Oh, sure. Go Big Red. Who's Big Red? You do have to
Probably
keep in mind
Harvard?
There's like,
I always thought it was
No, there's no
Cornell.
Harvard.
there's no Harvard.
Cornell used to be called like.
Yeah,
Big-
Cornell is big red as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's funny because the last our returning viewers will remember that last draw we were having a very interesting argument and poll on YouTube about which was the better Tiger team, and now we're talking about who was the better Big Red team.
I just remember last
Oh.
year at Nationals, there were 2.
On sheet 1, it looks like we're down to skip stones.
Yeah, was it last year at Nationals when it was Cornell and Harvard playing each other? They just started spamming in the chat their just team colors, which were very different, just slightly different shades of red.
There.
Is MIT red or no?
There we go.
Yeah, MIT's red, right?
Yeah. It was a nice hit by Minnesota then. They just kind of knocked that one red out. See, the issue is it's Declan who's the skip, and this man can make a lot of shots. At the Bowdoin Bondsfield this year, he was on a mixed team with a whole bunch of people he'd never played with before, I think, except for one guy I never remember the name of, unfortunately. And they just won the entire spiel.
Getting some people from college curlers in chat complaining that Harvard is crimson instead of red. Our mistake.
Okay, I'm sorry. You do realize crimson and red are roughly the same things, and the only way I differentiate the two is the crimson chin from Fairly Odd Parents, which is not a good reference for anything.
It's like Ohio State's scarlet and gray, like red.
Okay, how many stones left do we have on sheet 1 here?
Not that many. I'm counting 7 yellows already thrown. And
Minnesota.
all of the reds are thrown. So this is the last stone on sheet 1 coming soon.
Who had hammer and sheet?
Sheet 3, we had Michigan Tech with Hammer.
Okay, they still have hammer after. Or no, they have not.
They're all coming right up on that, like, final stones.
Yep.
Looks like stone's on its way on sheet 1.
It's always fun with little crab walk while the skip just tries to figure out what's going on with the stone.
Looks like it has good weight, but will it curl over there? Looks like it's on its way.
We'll see.
Oh,
And there we go, Minnesota with the stealing the stone. If I hit the wrong points, please correct me, because that'll be annoying. You want to see what's happening on the other ones, Will?
I'm just going to take a quick zoom out to see what's happening. Oh, looks like we have.
They are all on those final stones for us today. We have a request to go see Toledo. Yes, Ethan, we just discussed the Crimson versus Red. We don't need to bring it back. Oh, I should probably show you that it's Toledo, huh?
Oh, looks like
Oh, you don't have to.
looks like they're figuring out who's closest on sheet 2.
Yeah, you get that. Yeah, you're getting that.
I'm just becoming tech illiterate today, guys. It's great.
The world of curling technology.
So, Will and I here go to Rochester Institute of Technology, and every other week we get something about this technology broke down, and we're just like, great, thank you for that. Now, ooh, it looks like Penn State just scored 3 on sheet 2.
Yeah, let's get a look at their scoreboard real quick. Come on,
Somebody's
select it.
trying to point it up.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah.
Do we want to pan over to see how sheet 3 is going?
That is Penn State, even though it says Penn on the scoreboard.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
try and find that
We just point it out a
shot.
little
Yep.
bit. Who's doing it?
Ooh.
Oh, looks like Red's sitting 2 probably, but looks like they still have stone to go here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it could just be one red because we don't really have the best perspective on that back yellow.
Yeah.
Do you think the umpires just get so bored? Because that guy just looks dead inside right now. He's like my professors.
Or
Huh?
he's deeply focused on the job.
Looks like he's getting a scoreboard call.
Oh,
We'll
we want
go
to pan
and
over.
see what it is real quick.
Looks like one
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks like we tell
Yale.
here 1 for Yale. We'll stay here on sheet 3 to see these final stone.
Looks like they're falling just a little bit behind.
Looks like we don't have any. While some games go longer than others, no team is massively dragging
Yeah.
the pace of play.
At nationals, though, that's an absolute nightmare because once you run out of time, you're done. You lose.
Looks like that's nice. Draw shot for Michigan Tech.
Okay, did this
As
guy
they
just hold up
decide to
2 or
score.
3 points?
We'll see shortly.
Okay, it's 3 points, and I think it's from Michigan. But the umpire will tell us. Yes, it is.
Yep, 3 for Michigan Tech. As we now have all teams sending them back to the warm end of the ice.
Yes, the motion whiplash.
Oh, emotion whiplash. There you go. Keeps going away.
We apparently are going a little bit tight on those fan ends. Unfortunately, with the camera and us both being new at this, we can't guarantee it won't be as tight. We're gonna try our best, though.
They're all preset to each sheet, so we'll try our best. We'll try our best.
Watching 2 to 3 sheets always. Yeah.
So true. There's a lot to think about, especially when you're watching multiple sheets.
Oh, so I'm the alternate for RIT, but I was looking at the other team in our pool because they were playing right next to us on sheet C for the last draw. And so I would look over there and something would happen. Then I'd look over at RIT and something else completely happened. So I'd be staring there and then I'd look back and 2 more stones had been thrown. And I'm just like a dog being shown a squirrel just constantly. It looks like Penn just threw us down a little bit too hard.
Penn State.
I should probably show colors. Huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say they put it down for Penn.
Probably also.
Which, if you don't know anything about Penn State, you probably can assume Penn means Penn State, but Penn State.
Oh, thank you very much. Just had my mother deliver us pizza, so we'll figure out who's whose.
Well, I'm gonna guess that one's yours because
Yeah.
it has meat on it.
Big hammer on 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and 1.
It's a thing.
You're learning quick.
No, Will's learning quick. I'm just kind of like sitting here getting distracted.
Had some practice last year commentating with Brian of Princeton at the Happy Valley Bonspiel.
Oh yeah, you were with Brian.
Yeah, it was a very fun time commentating with Brian. Such a character.
Yeah, he was on here for the first draw.
Oh yeah, we definitely heard it. Not a bad thing. It's just very entertaining.
Can read a little bit about all of our teams we have in play.
Oh boy, who do you want to hear about?
Well, let's go left to right. Go MIT first.
You want to pan over there while we talk?
Okay.
Okay. So today with our lead, we do have Alex, and apparently he's been trying to make his own curling stones with concrete.
Wonder how that's going for him.
Do you really think it could get like the 40 pounds while also being like having the structural integrity?
I'm just wondering how you polish the bottom, because concrete isn't known for its lack of friction.
Just get like one of those chisels, you know? Somehow they used to do it and get it to look perfect. I'm sure you can do it with concrete.
Then have our second Alex as second of MIT. He reports being one of the few anthropologists on the MIT campus. So a humanities student among the tech students.
Oh, and I did make a mistake. I'm sorry, guys. I said the skip was Alex. No, it's the lead and the second, apparently. Third today, we have Polly, who's also on the MIT rowing team.
And then we finally have the skip of Declan, whose sister was also a college curler.
Nice. And a good shot there for MIT, knocking out that Yellowstone.
Next, also on sheet one, we have University of Minnesota. We have as lead Dustin, who's a third-generation curler.
Second here, we have Logan, who just finished his first full D&D camp. Oh, that's fun. He's gonna struggle to get out of that. D&D is so much fun.
Third, we have Oliver, who plays clarinet in the University of Minnesota Marching Band.
And then we have Tommy, who had a pet crayfish named Laddergal?
That's how I pronounce it, but I imagine there's
I imagine I'm saying it wrong.
also having pets. We have Freya as the alternate of Minnesota, who has a horse named Jolene.
We want to pan right over to sheet 2 for now. So, really quick. So you said a guard got bumped back. Was it on the center line, or where was it when it got hit? Because we have 2 rules with guards here in curling. The first rule is it within the first 5 stones. You can't get rid of it. You can't knock it out. You can put it in the house. You just can't get rid of it. And then we have the center tick rule, which I'm gonna have him explain because I still don't understand it.
The no tick rule says that if you have a guard that is on the center line, it cannot be removed from the center line during the free guard zone. It's a newer rule to curling. It sounds like it is likely what happened, had a stone on as a center line guard and had it bumped back in order to have to be replaced.
It's such a dumb rule. It doesn't affect any of us. We're not at the Olympic level.
It was introduced in the Olympics when you have your first shot is a center guard, but then what you will do is you will then split the house by hitting a shot that just ticks them back. As long as the stone is not removed from play, the free guard zone does not apply. But that really helps with, only matters in the more elite ranks of curling, as not many people here at college are going to be able to execute such a shot.
Okay, so let's introduce our Penn State players. So for our alternates, we have Danielle and Thaddeus. Danielle is a Penn State tour guide and is very skillful at walking backwards, which actually can be pretty useful in curling. And then we also have Thaddeus is an intercollegiate Pokemon champion.
At lead, we have Robert, who is a former freshman of the year at Penn State Club Curling.
Thanks for clarifying, Gary. Yeah, center tick line is interesting. Our second for Penn State today is James Numb. He loves cats and cat girls. Meow. This got released in the college curling Discord.
The scoreboard on the far end shows Michigan. I would imagine MTU would show up better, but yeah, I don't know why they put it up there.
Yeah, they just like to abbreviate things unless it's like the really long names for schools, and then they just put it in tiny print. So when you're in the warm room, you're just like squinting at the print to figure out. It's a great system.
Having Princeton all on one card, you can't really read it.
Yeah. Okay.
And our third on Penn State is Joseph, who likes Taco Bell for breakfast and only sleeps for an hour each night, like a true college student.
Hey, like below 4. It's more than 1.
It's rookie numbers, we can get those up.
And tonight our skip for Penn State is going to be Mallory. She plays off-brand Sims and wins Uno at the curling office, although it only happened once, guys.
Can I say that in parentheses?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I imagine a administrator got hold of it and wanted to make sure the record was set straight.
It's
Also, on sheet 2, we have Toledo. Their alternate, Logan, also coaches high school hockey, the more violent of the ice sports.
Hey, I love seeing get someone slammed into a wall any good day. Not as much as you guys, you go to them consistently, but it's still fun.
As a member of the RIT pet band, I am always down for some blood to be shed on ice.
Would you mind zooming out a bit? It looks like multiple teams are down to their skip stats at the moment.
We'll pan out to the full view.
Ooh. Yeah, that doesn't help.
Zoom out a bit with the
Yeah.
vehicles there.
That might be as far as we can zoom out, unfortunately.
And if you handle left and right, you get too much.
Ooh.
Have to rotate.
You see Declan here going for his first stone. And he hits the takeout. Yeah, I can't explain why they name things the same way they do. Like, Castleton is called Nova. Because I know, like, they're the University of Villanova now, but they called the team Castleton because that was the original name. But on the screen, it's just Nova, and then you go to a different Bonspiel, and it's Castleton. I might be getting the two mixed up. Do not quote me on this,
Yeah, I was
please.
going to say Villanova's a Philly school, and Castleton's in like Vermont.
Yeah. I'm
right,
sorry,
that makes
guys.
sense.
There is a Castleton and a Nova on the college curling tour.
It's one of those two that their college switched names, and then it just keeps getting mixed
Probably
up.
Castleton. I think. Don't quote me.
Just don't quote us on names, guys. Don't know what we're talking about. You know what? It might be helpful having the correct teams up. It looks like Minnesota just got a nice yellow in the house. Granted, given where it is, it's likely an easy takeout, but you can't quite.
Declan is an experienced skip, likely has planned for that takeout.
I would hope you have a plan for a takeout. Granted, I do love just being a goblin and chucking it, seeing where it goes. That's the best way to end a practice, guys. When you know there's no way of winning, you just chuck it, see what happens.
Continuing the lineup for Toledo, we have the lead, Hassan, who speaks 3 languages, although which 3 are not listed.
Yeah, so the issue with cheating the camera angle is we are trying to see the stones, which isn't the easiest, but we can go over a bit more since we have been focusing on the MIT in Minnesota.
Let's go see what's going on the right end of the ice.
Guess we're gonna pull up sheet 4 for Yale and RPI right now.
Yale just,
That is-
RPI just sent.
That just went flying.
Applause is heard from the war room. I heard that.
Okay, but like if they manage to knock out that red, they're gonna be up so many points.
Yeah, it's pretty open, but we'll see what Yale is able to do to respond.
Apparently fell on the ice.
It's not the strategy I would employ, but I'll let the skips decide for themselves.
Hey, I have seen somebody fall while sweeping and then to proceed to roll away from the stone on the ice.
Had a
Determination, right?
also saw that happen when someone was sweeping and then fell, but needed to get out of the way of the stone.
Was it the RIT deck one?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We have
was-
2 deck ones, one from RIT, one from MIT. It gets confusing when they're both at the same bonds field. Ooh. Okay, so on sheet 3, we obviously have Michigan Tech and Nebraska.
Lots of stones in front of the house, and looks like they're going to add one more.
These are always fun games because when they all get stuck in the front of the house, anything like behind that, well, you're pretty much guarded. Just explain it. Okay, so it looks like we still have a couple skip stones left for
Maybe the last 2 stones on these sheets after Yale's stone comes in.
Yeah, for sheet 3 we still have 2 because it'd be Michigan and Nebraska, but we want to scroll over to the first one again because I'm pretty sure that one just ended. It did indeed.
Oh,
just
yes, did end over. Let's go see what the scoreboard says. So we have a blistering zoom to that scoreboard, and we can't see it due to the American flag just clipping the view.
Well, we can assume that Minnesota won again.
Yes, and judging by I can see part of 5, it must not have been by more than 3.
Okay, so they've scored anywhere from 1 to 3 points, guys. I know that's the most helpful thing you will ever hear. Okay, I'm gonna pan out more and see what we're looking at.
We zoom out a bit.
So yeah, just gonna tell Will what to. Ooh, sheet 2 just put theirs up.
Oh, sheet 2 looks like if we zoom in a bit, that. Yeah, it looks like Penn State scored 2 more in the second end.
Penn State is really bringing their A game today.
Yeah.
They did so well earlier at the first draw.
If we look around, still no score here, and so we'll
Oh,
zoom
the
back.
official is hugging a 2.
Well, we know 2's going somewhere. We'll figure it out shortly. Looks like we're trying to figure
Okay.
out who's closest on
Yeah.
sheet 4.
So I'm guessing it's either a 2 or 3 for Minnesota. Oh wait, I'm just looking at the wrong sheet, guys. Don't mind me. I'm meaning RPI.
We know Minnesota scored at least 1, so we can go ahead and give them 1. And we'll figure out exactly what they have later.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, they determined the score. However, the official is still hugging the side.
Looks like the officials will have to communicate it across the ice. Or it looks like they might be calling for a measure on sheet
Oh.
4, judging by those 2 stones
Looks like
left
they
in the
are.
house. We just have this stone gliding its way into the house. Beautiful shot by Nebraska.
Okay, so is Nebraska up 2 or 3? Well,
We'll see what they are up after
find
the
out in a
game.
second.
Looks like they're about to post the score. But we'll also want to see what's going on with the measure on sheet 4.
And we will go to update sheet 2 in a minute. However, we don't get to often watch measuring. It's so much fun to do.
Still trying to determine a score on sheet 3, looks like. The official has decided to hug the other. And it looks like Yellow scored 3, so Nebraska and Michigan Tech are now even after 2 ends.
I remember someone told me when I first started curling that once you get tied, it's just like all the previous ends were for nothing.
That is, and it looks like RPI's Redstone was the winner of the measure.
Okay, so that you think that's 2 for Nebraska?
We'll see how it is shortly.
Oh wait, I'm sorry guys, RPI. They finished as well.
Trying to zoom in, give us a good view of all of the sheets on the far end of the ice.
Oh wait, we already saw Penn State. We knew they were at 5.
Oh, we have a score posted, and it looks like it was a score of 1 on sheet 4, so RPI and Yale are also tied after 2 ends.
Well, that's something, ain't it? It really seems like sheet 1 for MIT and Minnesota are getting a bit far ahead of everybody else.
Saving some time on the clock for later.
Ooh. So we want to introduce our teams on sheet 3 for now.
We might as well finish what we were doing on sheet 2 as well. Our other linguist on Toledo is their second, Claire, who got 3rd place in a spelling bee once.
And now you all have to wait. Okay. Our third today is Danielle, who has 2 metal bars in his chest. Why didn't we elaborate on that? That
Leaves a mystery. Why are they there? What are they doing?
imagine going through TSA with 2 metal bars in your chest.
To give you a card so that they can say, yes, I definitely have 2 metal bars on my chest. Do not be concerned.
Okay, who's our skip today?
The skip for Toledo is Nolan, who is a level 1 curling instructor.
And that was just a nice throw by Minnesota on sheet 1, knocking the red out. Not quite sure who's up right now.
And we can maybe zoom in, see what the current result is on sheet 1. Figure out. It'll be hard to tell from this end of the ice who is. I will learn this eventually.
Eventually. But now we get a great view of an empty house.
I'm going to go with that Yellowstone is closer from where I'm sitting.
So it indeed was a great shot by Minnesota. Okay, let's head over to sheet 3 for now.
Yeah, sheet 3. We just have the one off center guard and one in the back of the house.
Good. So let's see. Michigan Tech, our alternate today, is Noah, and he's the voice of the Huskies curl.
He was wanting to get into commentate at some point.
Oh, that's the guy. Okay.
We also have for Michigan Tech their lead Tyler, who is it is his first year curling and made it all the way on the nationals team. So good for Tyler.
I mean, you did that last year.
I was the alternate who threw 1 stone all right.
Hey, you're doing better than me. Our second for Michigan Tech today is Bryce. Jackson Armstrong apparently got him into curling.
Our third for Michigan Tech is Reese, who is also on the Michigan Tech football team.
Those seem like 2 very conflicting sports.
Yeah, not much ice in football usually.
I mean, unless you're in Buffalo,
Well,
but then
yeah.
it's just snowing.
Also, don't think there's many brooms in a football game. There is measuring still.
So our skip today is going to be Gracie, who founded the Huskies curl at Michigan Tech. They are a brand new team this year. Fun fact, their curling place is, whatchamacallit, natural ice. So they had a total of 3 practices this year before all of their ice was gone, which is very inconvenient, but they're doing so well.
They had a last-minute change of location for their Bonchville they hosted.
Well, they hosted.
Hmm? They had 2 weeks to find a new place to host.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Who's our Nebraska team?
We're trying to find where they are on these things. It's on the back page.
Yeah.
We have the alternate, Charlie, who has a dual citizenship with the US and Honduras.
Emma today is our lead, and she doesn't know how to ride a bike.
Fortunately, no bike riding and curling.
I mean, there's wheelchair curling, which I guess is similar.
Yeah, but your
But-
wheels are not in line, they're out of line.
Fair.
Makes it much easier to balance.
Yeah.
Though now that we say that, I do want to have put the sweepers on unicycles.
Look, I already get injured enough. You put me on a unicycle on ice, I'm getting a concussion, hands down.
We also have second, Brett, who's never broken a bone, and thus we know he has never done unicycle curling.
I struggle to pronounce that name.
Seamus?
I think it's Seamus.
We'll go with Seamus. And apologies if we don't know how to pronounce your name.
Okay, Sam has backed us up, so blame him if we're saying it wrong. He's our third today and has double jointed thumbs.
We also have our skip, Alex, who has coached baseball for 5 years.
And let's pan on over to sheet number 4 for our last introductions of the teams tonight. And looking at the house, it looks like we have RPI up 1, though it's a very close house for now.
I like the Yellowstone. It's that.
That's RPI, yeah.
Speaking of RPI, we have their alternate, Michael, who has befriended 2 other curlers' parents that's hoping to befriend even more.
Why go for the parents? Like, I understand the other people, but the parents of curlers?
Curling parents are great. They're very supportive and lovely people.
You haven't met my parents then.
Oh, my parents got pizza.
They did do that, yes, which I appreciate. Ooh, and that is a straight through stone for Yale. That is very unfortunate. It looks like they might have been going for it.
Our lead for RPI is Cecilia, who has an ardent admiration for the Postal Service.
I mean, solid.
Yeah, I had a co-op this summer where a lot of my job was figuring out how to take an intersection of 2 streets and turn that into an actual point,
Oh, really?
which is very difficult because people do not know how to name streets in ways that you can figure out.
One of my friends lives on a street called Kitty Hawk. And I just wonder who named that.
Well, Kitty Hawk isn't that where the Wright brothers flew their first airplane?
I did not. Okay. And so our second day,
I'll go with Kajsa.
I'm so sorry for butchering this. Huh?
Kaisa, Kaisa.
Okay.
Sam's calling you Kaisa. Apologies if that is not your name.
And they know more about typography than 99% of the population. That is a very bold claim.
Well, how much do you know about typography?
You know what? That's a great question. I just don't know what the word means.
It's the way words are written in letters. Like, the fun part of this is their fun fact here in the booklet we have is it's normal Arial font for everything except for
Yeah, we can pan out a bit, huh?
our fun fact for Kaisa, whose fun fact is in Comic Sans.
Is it? Wait. Oh my god, it is. Okay, they want to see sheet 2 and 3.
We can give you those 2 sheets.
Yeah, we are gonna continue introducing sheet 4 though while we're doing this.
We have third for RPIs of CJ, who also competes in Collegiate Ultimate Frisbee and is a connoisseur of fine breads.
How would you define fine bread?
Probably not leaven so that it's real thin,
So matzah.
or like a tortilla, stuff like that, yeah, or a pita.
You're calling tortillas bread?
I am not a connoisseur of fine breads myself.
And if we take a quick look at sheet number 2 here, we can see Toledo's pulling ahead with their stones. I think they're shot 1 right now. They might be shot 2.
Probably top 2 is what I would say.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, our skip for RPI is Jacob, who bought a 3D printer with his last tax return.
Solid
Lucky.
investment.
My last tax phase, I had to pay $800. And I'm just like, what did I do? What? Why am I paying this
That
much
was it.
money?
Having to pay New York State taxes.
I was paying New York State taxes. And they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah, I have that difficulty wishing to pay the much lower Indiana state tax than New York state taxes currently.
Fun fact about New York State taxes is they will tax any income from out of state if you live in New York.
That's why I claim not to live in New York.
Unfortunately, I do not have that option. Okay, and then our last team tonight is Yale.
Yale's lead is Bryce, who works on a Christmas tree farm.
For the second, we have Harry, who has walked at least 10,000 steps every day without fail since December 2015.
How many steps would that be? 365?
Don't make me bring out a calculator. I use one enough in school.
We have the third of Yale, Timothy, who has volunteered for lunch detention in middle school. It's a story to learn later.
You don't have to ask, yeah. And then our final skip tonight is Aaron, who once walked into
The Luxembourg.
a chamber of deputies thinking it was a rest room. He was subsequently escorted out of the building.
Didn't even get to use the restroom, unfortunately.
Darn. Yeah, we can pan over to for you.
Looks like RPI is calling a shot. I'm guessing it's a draw to try and sit on that red stone on the back of the forefoot.
Honestly, across most of the sheets, it looks like red is winning. Although that means nothing. But, I mean, the teams are winning, but the color of the stone means nothing. Ooh, look at that yellow who just got swept in by Nebraska here.
Looks like it might not be shot rock, but
No, it's definitely not. Red is closer.
have a pause from somewhere.
Yeah, I think Yale and RPI are lining up their skip shots along with most. Do we want to skip over to the first one to see what's
Yeah,
going on?
see what's going on. Oh, yeah,
They
that's
just
quite an
finished.
end.
Perfect timing. We love a good
See
full
what the
house.
score is, or if the flag is still going to be blocking us.
Oh no, the flag is definitely blocking us unless they somehow knock it out.
Or MIT, or if they score, Minnesota scores enough, we'll at least know what the score is. Looks like it was 2 for MIT in the third end,
I'm glad to see they.
as well as 2 for Toledo in the third end, it looks like. So moving back over to the right end of the house.
Oh, for those of you joining us, Minnesota is not up to date on the points. We just can't see what they got in the second end, which is completely inconvenient.
We go outside. So.
It's you can, yes.
Be right back. Where's Minnesota?
Yes.
Alright.
Sweeping vigorously on sheet 3 for Michigan Tech.
Toledo? No,
Tied
so
2-2.
Toledo, I think, already
Yeah.
finished
Sheets
their
1 and
third
2
end.
are still already complete with their third end.
Unfortunately, you're just a smidge late for that.
Did you get?
Oh, cool. Already had it through.
Oh, you have it?
So
Nice.
we're just like, you got 1 point at least. Okay, we can zoom out a bit more just to see what's happening on both sheets at the same time. Okay. Who is wearing red?
Looks like MIT is one of the teams wearing red.
Sorry, on sheet 4.
Sheet 4, that'll be RPI wearing red.
Okay.
Yale in their blue jackets.
Okay, so it looks like we're on our last 2 skip stones for sheet 4 then. Assuming I have it correct, and they had
No.
hammer last round.
Yes.
We will keep that in mind. We might zoom in a bit more just to be able to see where the stones are, but
We'll see how these 2 stones end.
you don't have to retract the message. It's fine, we got it. Hey, it looks like sheet 4 just wrapped up that end.
Looks like both sheets will have. We.
Or not. Never mind.
Oh no,
I
still
lied.
1 more on sheet 3. Oh, and 1 more on sheet 4 as well.
I think it's going to be a bit tenser on both sheets 3
Yeah.
and 4 just because they're tied right now.
Yeah, both tied, both wanting to have the upper hand going into halftime soon.
Oh, yes. Halftime is always interesting because in normal Bonspiels, we just don't have that break. So it's like, what are we doing?
You have 5 whole minutes to discuss whatever you like. A little bit of strategy and a little bit of hockey scores.
Or we could discuss the perfect way to make hot chocolate. That was a nice little sweep there by Michigan Tech on sheet 3.
Unfortunately, just take their own stone a bit. We'll see what they decide the score to be.
Well, I think Michigan Tech may have gotten one by the high five, but we'll find out.
Score is being posted now.
Oh,
Looks like-
well, it's a bit more than one.
Michigan Tech 4-2 in the third end. And now, up on our last last sheet playing on the third end.
We can just pan over instead of zooming in.
I'm trying to do it fancy.
Sorry, that's my earbuds falling to the floor. They're in my sweatshirt pocket, which hates me today.
Stone coming in. Looks like it might be a bit wide, but it still has time to curl. Just taps their own stone, maybe moved it closer.
Ooh, that might beat that yellow on the right-hand side.
Maybe. We'll see what they call it to be. Looks like they've decided. We'll get
That
a
was a
score
quick-
update for you quick soon. If one of them will decide to tell the official.
I think they just did. Okay, let's pan out and see where everybody else is going right now.
Yeah, looks like 1 for Yale. And we'll move back to the warm end of the ice.
Sheet 2 over here, already 5 stones in, while sheet 4 just finished up their last end.
I also don't know, probably quite a few stones down sheet 1 as well.
True. Can't exactly see what they're height.
Looks like Toledo's going to potentially get their 4th stone just biting into the house of the men.
Nice shot. Unless it's like one of those that looks like it's in the house, but you just look down and it's barely out of it.
Stone coming in hot for Minnesota, looking to take out that corner
Ooh,
draw.
that was a perfect nose hit. We love that.
It's like MIT's going to try and double. It's 2 yellow stones in the middle.
Those ones are always difficult just because of you lose force for each stone. Ooh. And mulligans. Ooh. Penn State just missing that takeout. Or
Yeah,
not.
got the 1 stone, but not the 2.
Yeah, I thought they were going for that front one.
Stone coming in hot for MIT. Looks like we'll get 1, and the second one will go out.
Yeah, but that one's zooming out.
Well, they called peel, and I'm guessing they have decent peel weight.
True.
Check out how some early games are going on the right side of the warm room. We have, looks like a center draw and a center guard for Michigan Tech on sheet 3, and looks like we are just getting underway on sheet 4. Unless there's a stone buried in the corner of the house. Probably
Potentially.
not.
It's an interesting move going with the draw for your first shot.
Well, some teams like to play the hit-heavy game, especially the Midwestern teams.
Yeah, they scare me. Like, the amount of takeouts that happen in a game is kind of annoying. Like, let me just set up my wall of guards and make a solid line, guys. It's so true. But you can't tell me it's not cool if you get, like, a little side wave from the stones.
Sign moves.
And it looks like Nebraska just misses hitting that center. Well, not just misses.
Looks like there's some discussion on sheet 4. They decide what they're doing. Stone coming in on sheet 2. Just tapping the yellow in a bit closer, unfortunately.
Trying to see if I can find my stopwatch.
Another stone coming in hot for MIT. We'll hit the first one into the second one. Oh, get 2 stones knocked back. Very good shot for MIT.
It's so interesting trying to keep track of all the games at once because you look over and you just miss something entirely.
It's also having our little booth here. You don't see all of them at once, only what you're showing. At Penn State, we can see all 3 games and decide to focus on what we want.
Okay, so right here, Toledo just hit Penn State's rock. Which one do you think is closer?
On sheet 2,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with all 4 of those yellow stones are closer than that red.
Oof.
But still early in, still have a chance to do something about it. None of them are exceptionally close to the button.
That is true.
Where's the red? Oh, there's the
Right there. You know, the ice doesn't look that shiny when you're actually out there. But here it has, like, just the perfect reflection.
You can see where it's broken up by the many flags that are on display in the ice house.
That's a fast shot by Toledo. No, they're Penn State. They're both wearing blue. You think we're going for the takeout?
I think they might be trying to draw between those 2 stones.
Well, it was ineffective either way. Fortunately. You think the ice is still running a bit fast?
Oh, it will reset every game with the scrape.
True.
It started to normalize for us on sheet D towards the end of the game.
That is good. How are RPI and Gale doing right now?
Still early in the end, but looks like we have a red stone pretty close to the button with 2 other yellows in the house and a red up high guarding the red stone on the button in the house.
The red stone was actually pre the red on the button. I think it just barely got over the hog line. Speaking of which,
Well, it might carry. That true ice was a little funky for us at the start, but looks like you now have 3 red stones in a line on the center. We also now have 2 red stones pretty close to the center on sheet 3.
yeah, sadly enough though, with that sheet, it's now the 5th rock, so we just lost the no guards, or
3 guards.
3 guards. Okay. Not looking at anything else, just looking at sheet 3. What do you think they're calling?
Looks like Nebraska, I would try and call a double.
See if
Throw
we're actually
that
gonna manage to hit
yellow
it.
stone real hard and heavy into that red stone.
Ooh,
Hope
you
it
think
gets
it's
the
gonna
other.
move too much?
Looks like it's unfortunately moved too much. Might clip the guard.
It did indeed clip the guard. Hey, the guard was effective at its job.
And it is now gone, so they'll have a better opportunity in the next stone. Looks going back over to the left side. We still have those many stones bunched up in the front of the house on sheet 2, and another relatively open edge, sheet 1.
So despite MIT and Minnesota throwing their skip stones, there is like nothing in play.
Oh, there is another yellow hiding around. Unfortunately, took out their own stone, but did get the better of the Minnesotan stones.
So it looks like we have 3 more skip stones on sheet.
Looks like it. And we have red into the yellow. Did shake some stuff up on sheet 2.
Yellow
Nope.
is still up 4 though I guess damage control for 5. Oh
You
wait,
still have the opportunity to draw around.
I've had that happen before, but given that last shot, might be a bit unlikely.
Looks like it's yet another takeout on sheet 1. Trying to take out that red stone and set 3, maybe 4.
See, this is why we like the free guard zone. Because then it's not just a takeout game from the start, unless you somehow mess up and get a house. Then it's a takeout game.
Bigger sweeping from Minnesotans.
Okay, sorry about the mute. We have the door open and the locker room gets a bit loud. So we see MIT throwing their last skip stone. It's always fun. It looks like Toledo's doing the same.
Or Penn State, rather.
Gosh dang it.
Yeah,
One of these times.
The Navy's.
One of these times, I swear I will get it right.
The darker blue jackets are rather confusing.
What just happened with that one?
We had just stones exploding out and just tried to make sure we didn't affect any other sheets.
It's just the fact that he just, like, stood in front of it entirely, like, that was strange to me.
Looks like they have decided on the score. We'll get that to you in a moment.
Okay. So we're gonna just take a last look at sheet 1 once Minnesota finishes their stone, and then we will pull you right over to sheet 3 and 4 to see what's happening.
Looks like a full 5 points for yellow on sheet
Are you
2,
kidding?
bring Toledo up to 7.
It's gotta be rough for them.
Another flash to make it. Looks like red will score 1 on sheet 1, and we'll show you what's going on the other end of the ice.
Bring it on.
Stone coming in from Michigan Tech. Thought he'll get around that guard and be buried. Very nice shot.
Ooh, on sheet 4, RPI is doing a great job. They have 3 in the house and 9 from Yale.
Hey, Tony Hughes.
How low to the ground do you get when you're throwing your stones?
Hopefully not too low, but I try to stay up and square using the stabilizer still.
I think I've seen our skip Cameron play limbo during like one of our last practices of the season.
Marcus will also get very low to the ground when he's throwing heavy
True.
hits.
Which I guess it makes sense because having your center mass lower, but it's
You're-
still like very close to just
Yeah,
tapping the stone with your face.
and you have your hand right in front of your eye so that you can see exactly where their stone is going.
How many stones does the Michigan Tech and Nebraska have?
We'll zoom a bit over. Looks like it might just be this stone and then 1 more for each team.
Maybe.
Hard to see down that end of the ice.
Just a bit. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So what's fun is we go to a school that's associated with the National Institute for
National Technical Institute of the Deaf.
that. So we all pick up a little bit of ASL. And so we were talking to one of the guys on our team named Bo, and we're like, what's sweep? And he's like, oh, it's this. And we're like, oh, how do you say sweep harder? He's like, you just do it faster. And we're
It's
like,
very visual language.
it is, but it's so weird to just like aggressively sweep.
It's also nice to have stronger facial expressions when you're trying to say your mood.
True. Ooh, on sheet 4, it looks like RPI is going for a takeout. You think they're gonna make it?
Let's search skip here. I believe he's more known for draws, but he is a very competent skip. Would not call a shot he did not want to take.
What's funny is someone once told me, if your skip thinks you can make it, the shot is possible. And I'm like, technically true. But the statistical likelihood of me actually making the shot is very, very low.
Was not until about a week ago when I finally gained confidence in my hits.
Ooh.
Unfortunate flash there for RPI, but
RPI just
Michigan
missed.
Tech
Ooh.
having more success.
Nice note dive on Michigan Tech. So they have 2 right now. You said it's 1 more stone each? Oh wait, no,
That might be their last stone for yellow to have the final chance to affect the score.
Yeah, it looks like it's just Nebraska now. hard part about having it very angled is it's kind of hard to see what's happening from like a straight on perspective. Which
I have
changes
this rotate button that I've been afraid to push.
press the button. Oh,
What? Oh, it's a reset button. That's what that was.
I mean, we can just scroll down a bit
Yeah.
and see what's happening on the sheet. Oh, could you go over to sheet 1?
Let's see how this stone on sheet 4 fares, as
Okay.
well as sheet 2, and then we'll go back over and give you a full view of the house as we take a halftime pizza break.
Oh, that's okay. So the reason I wanted you to go over to sheet 1 is because it was empty and I was confused because I forgot about the four ends and then a breakable.
Increase the end on
Okay, how much?
just the end needs to be 4.
Why is that on the board?
Should be good then. As well as sheet 1.
Okay, so it looks like Michigan Tech and Nebraska just finished up their last shot. Did we see anything from the ref?
Just wanting to know the scores. Looks like, from I can see here, the one on the bottom, that's red, right? Has 7 points now.
From sheet number 3?
On sheet 3, yes.
How can you see that?
The stuff we have at the top of the screen showing the current teams blocks a bit of the camera that I can see on my end.
Okay, and I think, let's see, RPI is 1. I think RPI just scored 1. You want to scroll up a bit?
With that, we will point you in on the scoreboards as we take a break to eat our pizza.
Muted.
I've seen someone down by 6 with 3 M left. They came back and forth. I watched high school teams do it. You just have just think we're just small for this next just 2. This is
Welcome back, everyone. We have
Okay, we're back after figuring out technology.
for those just joining us. We have MIT and Minnesota on sheet 1. We have Penn State and Toledo on sheet 2. Michigan Tech and Nebraska on sheet 3, and Yale and RPI on sheet 4.
We took a bit of break to eat food just because our match was roughly right before this one.
On an update on scores, we have MIT up 3 against Minnesota's 2, Toledo up 7 against Penn State's 5, Michigan Tech up 7 against Nebraska's 3, and RPI and Yale tied at 2. All of this after 4 ends.
Hey, do we want to look at anyone in particular?
The sheets 1 and 2 are running a bit faster than the other sheets, so we'll focus in on them as they are likely down to Skips Rocks by this point.
Yeah, I think so, because I know the dinosaur pants card isn't Declan Elter, but there's 2 people who wear dinosaur pants. And MIT doesn't have hammer, so we at least have 1 more stone from them. Okay, so based on our view, how many do you think MIT is up?
I'll go with 3, but it's hard to see from this angle.
Yeah. Because it's also, if it's like the 2 reds are just like just close enough to where the yellow is that it's like it could very well be either. Which is fun.
Looks like we have a draw coming down on sheet 2 for Penn State. Looks like it might be left high as a guard or might get all the way to the house. I can never tell the speed once it gets towards the house.
Sorry, I was looking up if I could see the live stream on my phone, but alas, when I pulled up college nationals, it's like, oh, you want to see Utica? No.
Minnesota calling for heavy sweeps. Looks like they might be able to just get that in to take off that back stone.
But alas, James is in the way. It looks like they did manage to get out that stone, though. And now it's even more confusing of whether red is closer.
I'm gonna go with yellow is at least closer than the red stone on the right.
Okay.
But don't know about that red stone in the back left side of the house.
And it looks like we are down to our final skip stones for them because Declan's throwing his second shot. Okay.
Furious sweeping for MIT. Bit more relaxed for the Toledo curlers.
Okay, what is your favorite kind of shot? The no sweeping, the light sweeping, or the aggressive sweeping?
Sweeping is one thing I can do. That's just your chores instead of having the difficulty of having to execute a shot perfectly. So I always like to show off the one thing I can actually be good at.
Which one is that?
Sweeping.
I mean, you've made some on the button draws.
I do pull out some lucky ones
But the
occasionally.
beautiful shots that leads make always go bye-bye.
That's the unfortunate part of playing lead. If you make too good of a shot, they just gotta remove it.
It's like such a pretty stone, but they're like, goodbye. Okay, so it looks like we just got down the skip stones on sheet number 2, and our last skip stone is happening on sheet number
looks like it will just hit that guard.
Okay.
See, looks like they're calling one. Side one for which team?
That would be
Yes.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And so if it really is 1 point, this puts them at a tie.
Oh,
of
1
3 to
point
3.
for MIT.
Oh, bet. Let's go. I have no preferences. I just can't see that well. Okay. Oh, it looks like Toledo and Penn also just finished their end.
And it looks like it'll just be 1 point for Penn State in that end. We'll show you what's going on the right side of that house, and we have a whole bunch of stones all piled up there on sheet 4.
I really want to throw just a takeout at that, because that sounds like so much fun. It looks like we are down to skip stones on both of them, so it looks like they did catch up eventually. So it looks like for now, Michigan Tech and Nebraska are our biggest differences that need to be made up. Which is kind of rough, because everybody else is roughly tied.
Close enough that it's still anyone's game at least.
Yeah. But they're both getting up their points. And here we are.
Nice shot for Michigan. Oh, just clips that guard, unfortunately. Looked like it would have been right on the tee line for weight if they had just got a few inches to the right.
Yeah. I mean, Bryce is pretty good at sweeping. However, there's only so much he can correct. Thanks, Marsha. We enjoyed it just because we just get to sit and talk about curling. Nobody's judging us.
Fun to watch good curling games.
I mean, it's a lot more interesting than, like, I'm not gonna say more interesting, but it's very different than watching, like, the Olympic level, because it's college, and we're very unpredictable. Versus Olympics, it's like, oh, it's that shot, it's likely gonna be made that shot.
Well, it's a big lesson I took home from Nationals last year. I was sitting on the bench with the Toledo coach watching the RIT Toledo game, and
Really, like, Nebraska pulling in that stone after clipping it on the guard, that's nice.
continuing the story, the RIT missed a shot and unfortunately gave Toledo an advantage, and I made a comment I'm not too proud of to the Toledo coach. He just told me I prefer to root for good curling rather than denounce bad curling. Later that end, we had both RIT and Toledo making very difficult shots, just very narrow window, and just seeing the same shot that was very difficult executed 4 times in a row perfectly. Turned to him and said, "You're right. Good curling is so much better to watch than bad curling."
So are you saying college curling can be boring?
Well, I enjoy seeing a shot well executed rather than someone messing up a shot.
Okay, but what about, like, the learn to curl nights? Those aren't boring.
Well, you at least get some intrigue and as to all the people trying to figure out how to
Ooh,
stand on the ice without falling.
that was a nice hit. I thought the yellow was gonna stick. Oh, it looks like they're determining points between RPI and yellow. And sheet 3 is still not quite done.
Well, it'll be close. Looks like all of the red stones are delivered, and so it'll just be one more yellow stone.
Do you think they might measure? Oh wait, never mind. I lied. They all gathered around and were looking at the stones.
Looks like a call has been made on a poor Gale, as Nebraska's stone is just gliding in there, hoping
Ooh,
to
I
get.
think it might clip their guard if it moves too much.
It might get that curl. Looks
No,
like it's
no, it's
curling,
not gonna
and they're just trying to sweep it all the way in, which looks like they will. So Nebraska likely scoring one to
sweet,
end.
sweet, sweet. Oh, Nebraska. Oh, it looks like Nebraska did just score one. Good for
Well,
them.
Verify the scoreboard.
Yeah. It's always nice to be able to make up a difference in points.
Fortunately, with the way this game is going, they might need more than just 1 point per end. As the phone goes up in the commentator's booth.
Okay, so it looks like Nebraska did just score 1 point to put them at 4th of the game. This brings them to their 6th end.
We'll go in tight on sheet 4 to see how this final stone falls. Or they'll have 2 more stones, it will look like.
That house is so crowded from this perspective.
Yeah, I cannot make out anything.
Oh, if you add 1 more stone right next to like that first row, you have like a perfect 10, and now you can just play bowling with curling stones.
Let's see if we can get John, our ice technician, to approve our new Blanchfield format where we get set up curling as bowling.
He does say blow up the guards.
What if we actually just got like bowling pins?
I mean, we do have our last practice as a goof off practice.
I doubt he's going to let us bring bowling pins on the ice.
Sad. Ooh, okay. Was that their final shot, or do you think they still have 1 more stone?
I think Yale still has one last chance to influence this end, although I have no clue what they are going to do with it.
Okay, well, Yale's red.
Yale is red. And if I had to guess, although I absolutely cannot tell from this angle, looks like those 2 yellow stones might be the closest.
Yeah, I think from like what I can potentially figure out, the reds are like on the edges of the 4, and then the yellow is like on the inside of the 4, and then like touching the button on the other. Okay, what would your call be here if you were Yale and I mean you're tied?
As a Yale, I guess the only thing you got is it would depend very much on what's going on there, but
What's going on
I'd
here?
always call a draw for myself rather than a takeout, but that's just my...
This is an interesting place to put a stone, regardless.
I think they were trying to get a bit more around, but unfortunately crashed on the guards.
Okay, what are we thinking?
Looks like they might have to measure. Looks like they're just going to kick stones out.
I mean, if they leave some there, then they're definitely.
Or leaving those 2 to
Okay,
measure.
no. It doesn't look like they're measuring.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, those vices would be standing right there.
We'll zoom out, and it looks like they got 1 point for the yellow of RPI.
Good for RPI. Let's go see what our first 2 sheets are doing.
Haven't seen them in a while. Looks like they'll probably be close to the end of their games. Or at least these ends, sorry.
A printer's going off. Our apologies, guys. I think we just missed an entire end.
Sure not. I think it's just that open on...
Oh.
Yeah, because they're throwing this way, so it has to be the 6th end.
Yeah.
You can update the end on sheet 4.
Oh, so I can. I think it'd be really interesting to see a blank end. Like, it's probably not gonna happen, but it'd still be interesting.
As MIT gets one top 12 foot. And Minnesota, the Midwestern team's just going to hit it. That's how you wind up with an end this clear so late in the end.
And we see Toledo doing a heavy sweep right there.
Got the hit that just got those 2
Nice.
stones. Unfortunately, not enough weight to move the red out.
Why didn't Penn sweep there?
Did not get far enough back, so they were not allowed.
Oh, fair. I didn't notice that.
However, if they want it, there
Take
is...
it, take it, take it.
Oh, nice takeout for MIT. There is the run back option for Penn State on sheet 2.
Are you thinking about like the two yellow? or
Throwing
the
that
yellow?
yellow one into
Yeah.
the red as I point to the screen that only us in the commentating booth can see.
I mean, you guys can see it too, but you can't see where we're pointing.
You need to give me full John Madden and let me draw all over the screen.
Oh goodness.
I'll ask Sam to set that up in the end break.
Oh, okay, so it looks like we're on skip stones for sheet 1. And then Toledo and Yale. No,
Penn State.
Penn State and Toledo. Oh my goodness, I have the wrong scores pulled up, guys. I'm sorry. Hello, there's no one at the door.
I
You're being
think the
taunted.
knock was from this wall to my left here.
Oh my god, we might actually get a blank end.
Well,
That's
surely
exciting.
whoever throws the last stone will leave it in.
I mean, maybe.
Tight enough game. Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean,
If you're the skip, would you rather blanket and have hammer the next end, or just take the 1 point?
Minnesota, I would definitely take the 1 point. Actually, how does hammer work? Is it just the same person?
It
who
will
did hammer?
continue. Yeah, whoever had hammer and the end that was blanked will retain it for the next end.
But yeah, I'd definitely go try not to get a blank end. That would be a bad idea.
It's like Minnesota is setting up another draw shot. Toledo tries to hit stones out. Oh, and promotes theirs onto the butt.
However unintentional it was.
Leaves Penn State with lots of thinking to do. Those 3 stones lined up, and the line's going to be hard to have a run back play. Maybe that sheet is swingy enough that you could get a hit, but who's to say?
Uh, I just keep having the wrong sheet. Okay, who's throwing right now?
Looks like it is Declan of MIT throwing his
Sorry.
shot right now. And it will
Penn
be
State.
Penn State is set up to throw. And it looks like that stone is just about to be coming our way. As MIT hits another stone out, but does not stick.
So it looks like Minnesota has the last stone right here. So they just have basically to do an LSD.
Or they just need to get somewhere in the house, or they might choose to blanket, retain hammer to try and score more next end to make up the
Fair.
difference.
But it's a practice LSD shot.
Well, they won't have to throw an actual LSD until tomorrow. Will be-
Right and early. We love it.
They get the middle game. We have to be here early.
I mean, I wouldn't call 8 a.m. that early.
Well,
Typically.
depends on how late we stay up tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a lot to discuss after our game today.
Ooh. Although unintentional, I think. Ooh, it's carrying. I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna die there.
It'll get there.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
They just need to touch.
Let's go.
Looks
Okay.
like Minnesota will just take the 1. As we move back on to see what's going on elsewhere on the ice. Still can't zoom out. Going on, haven't checked in on sheet 4 for a while. Looks like an interesting end developing. Lots of centerline stuff, but 1 open stone to do something with.
I mean, there's. Or, like, just flat out knock them out. But if you were able to, like, draw around and on that
Yeah.
back yellow.
Well, yellow being the one throwing, they're probably just not going to take out their own stone intentionally. But unfortunately, looks like they're. Oh, stone, it's now in line just on the back there.
I mean, I've thrown enough stones off weight that I've taken out our own stones unintentionally. However, it was a takeout. A takeout was called. I made a takeout. It was not a good takeout. Okay. Do you think they finished those last skip stones on sheet 2?
We'll see what's going on. It looked like they still had a few stones left to go when I moved over.
Looks like they have at least one.
Yeah, it looks like they have the last 2 stones of the game. Or
Just
at the end.
squint. Ooh, that's a tight house, though.
Like, it's yellow, red, and then maybe some other red, so
You know,
if Penn State can hit that one yellow out, they might be sitting pretty. Of course, Toledo will then have one more stone.
if Penn State could hit that, they'd be up 4-5. But alas, it looks like it's gonna go bye-bye.
Oh, it's stuck around, but does not look like it will matter too much.
Yeah.
As Toledo calls a timeout, we'll move over to the other sheets for a moment.
And another yellow goes into the ring for RPI, I think it is.
I believe so. Looks like... not quite sure what this call is. Looks like they're trying to hit that out, the front yellow stone. Clear some of this house out a bit.
And it looks like Michigan Tech is doing the opposite and trying to get a fourth stone into their house.
Oh, looks lots of stones on the move on sheet 4.
Nice shot just by Yale. Kind of knocks that, what, 5 down to 2? Is that max stone?
3 or 4.
out?
I don't know, but we're about going to be done with the timeout on sheet 2. Let's see what they called. Or still on
Or
timeout.
not. Okay.
Lots to discuss. Very interesting end for them.
True.
Looks like they did remove that back stone on sheet 4.
I mean, that is pretty good damage control.
Mm-hmm. Having a stone that far back in the house might just be able to outcount it with their later stones. Simultaneous stones on sheets 3 and 4. Both similar weight.
Oh,
Now both are sweeping.
the
See.
person in the green there looked like they kind of slipped through it. I hope they're okay. Or it might just be their sweeping style.
Will
And they
bounce,
knock another red right in further.
but might be able to sweep it out, maybe not.
Maybe not.
And we'll see what's going on sheet 2 with this final stone.
Sorry, I just kicked the filing cabinet.
Held back filing cabinet, who's boss?
Well, it's not me. Maybe it's the fridge.
The fridge is in charge of the filing cabinet.
I mean, why not? Or would you say the filing cabinet is in charge of the fridge?
To be fair, I've not really considered the hierarchy of appliances.
That is your loss. You clearly haven't zoned out in classes before. That was a nice shot by Toledo, just bringing one of their stones in further. I think that was their last shot.
That was last shot, so it'll look like it'll be 1 for yellow. Just confirming it. And as we see on the other end, yep, just 1 for yellow there.
for Toledo.
Back on the right end of the sheets.
It looks like Michigan Tech is definitely playing a takeout game today.
Well, when you're up that much, you don't really need to score much.
I mean, yeah, it is working.
And that looks like
Oh.
Michigan Tech has just shook hands with Nebraska.
Yeah.
Let's get a final score for you shortly, but
At the end of the sixth end, it is very likely they are 10-3. We will find out in momentarily, though. Oh, nice.
good game by Michigan Tech and Nebraska.
You can just see the ref is like a dark silhouette in the background.
They're hovering around, seeing what the final score is. Likely waiting for the call.
I wonder what Yale's up to, because the line that he pointed to kind of looked like he was going for a takeout. Maybe it's a hit and roll, but
I'd go with it to draw in, but probably wanting to if you can, move those 2 stones on the right around to...
But the issue is that stone is just moving so fast.
Or it could be trying to hit their stone at the top of the house into the stones in the back of the house. Looks like not
However,
work out for them, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it just goes. Oh, it might stay in play though.
Yeah.
Well, that's up. And our ref for Street 3 is still just standing there. We'll get a score eventually. Okay.
Well, I think that often happens when you decide the game is over. You're not too concerned about what the final score is. Probably still having to get that out of the curlers.
Yeah. So how are sheets 1 and 2 doing?
Well, take a look over there real quick. Looks like I haven't gotten too far in on sheet 2. As I...
Unlike the Zoom.
The point tilt zoom, it's a very... It works for what it needs to do. Unfortunately, we need a more skilled operator than I.
Hey, better than me. I would have shut down the live stream accident. You know?
Looks like yellow sitting 1 on sheet 1, but Declan is calling for a takeout by the looks of it. And a center guard to start for Toledo. As
That's a good shot there for MIT, just knocking Minnesota right out of the house.
we'll zoom back to see how the game on sheet 4 is progressing. Probably down to our last stone by now.
Either their last stone or grabbing the skip's shoot.
Oh, yeah, looks... yeah, there's a stone set up there in the hack.
Ooh, it always scares me when people use like the temporary slider as like a balance thing, because when it's not attached to your shoe, it just feels like it's gonna go. MIT is doing pretty well. However, they are very close. They're 4 and 3, and they're finishing up their 7th end here. Nope, don't finalize it until the score's put up. Nice.
Oh, tap that in.
That was
Guess,
a great hit by Yale there.
yeah, looks like they'll be sitting 1 unless there's any other stones. No, like,
No, I
looks
think
like...
that is their last stone.
Alright, back on to sheets 1 and 2.
Good for you. They are going into their 7th end, tied 3-3.
Looks like we might have...
Or not. I might have missed something. No, never
Yeah,
mind.
they're tied 3-3,
That's right.
and looks like we have a final score on sheet 3. Looks
Ooh,
like it'll
Michigan
be
lapped them.
Michigan Tech
It's going to
12
12
versus
to 3.
is Nebraska's 3.
See, this is why we don't finalize things. So the end score of sheet 3 is Michigan 12 to Nebraska 3 for a win to Michigan.
Good job, both teams, and hope to play again tomorrow and show what they've got in nationals. As I continue to try and zoom in. Lots of zoom.
Just zooming in on the umpire who's cool. Did someone just fall?
I did not see it, but I am trying to figure out how to get this camera to zoom just how I want. It looks like we'll be stuck here for a moment.
I mean, you could go to one of the auto settings and see.
We'll leave it here. It's good enough. Minnesota. It looks like they're having all of their players down in the house to conference.
You think they're on a timeout then?
Actually,
Meanwhile, on sheet 2, Toledo's looking pretty good.
have a bit of a center with one stuck in there. Looks like they're set up to steal. As Penn State deciding whether to sweep or not. Stone coming in. Looks like it might just hit a guard, but
As they block our view.
Curler's got a girl. We'll figure out how to view the game around.
They did hit a guard.
Yeah,
However-
opened it up a bit, but Toledo now has a path there to do something with.
I mean, it really depends. No, they're not going to do anything with with that path. I think they might be calling a guard, but like going into the house with it, I don't.
Slow ice for a guard. Unless they know something about this ice that I don't.
I mean, they're the ones playing on
They're
it.
the ones playing it. If anyone knows something about this ice that I don't, it's gonna be them. Well, looks like that'll be a decent guard.
Oh, it's a
carrying
wonderful
on.
guard for another guard. Oh, it might go in the house though.
Corner draw, maybe? Or a corner guard.
Corner guard. The best corner guard. Ooh. So it looks like Minnesota just got out of their little team huddle and they're calling something else right now.
Penn State looking to take advantage of that gap.
I think the stone might be curling a bit too much for them to actually get anything. Yeah, I think it's gonna clip that guard
Yeah,
there.
clip the guard. But once again, opened up for next stone.
Yeah, I think they were probably going for a takeout, but they just threw.
Just too wide.
Hey, was that the final end? Not the final end, but was that the final stone?
I think Penn State has at least one more.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about sheet one.
Oh, on sheet one.
But no, it looks like Declan has at least one more stone to go.
Counting the stones, unless there's some hidden on the left that I'll just check briefly.
Yeah, I think
Looks
the
like they're
stones
not.
are going to be playing hide and seek tonight. You know? All we gotta do is turn off the lights, go around on the ice in the dark, and try to find the stone.
Looks like Minnesota will have one more stone as well. Just counting quickly.
Well, MIT has hammer this round.
Yeah, hammer. So MIT this stone, then two more stone. One more stone for each team afterwards.
That was a good shot by Declan. It hit that right on the nose. Or was... yeah, that was Declan. Not mixing up the teams. Okay, how is our sheet 14 doing?
We'll give them a check real quick. Probably still early in their end. Oh. Another center being built up.
They seem to be focusing on those guards tonight. At least at this end.
Well, two in the back. We'll see how theirs plays out. So, I'm back to our final shot calls. Hearing some colors in the background looking for their friends.
You gotta get changed out of those shoes before broom stacking starts. Okay, so it looks like this is our last skipped stone for the 7th end for sheet 1. Hello. What's in my bed? I don't want to see how the shots are going. Granted, we're about to.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Very touch and go with the Zoom. I apologize if anyone is seasick at
That
this
is
point.
a fabulous shot by Declan there.
Stick the shooter around for one. It looks like.
Okay, so that's going to bring MIT up to 5 to Minnesota's 3, and they're going into their 8th and final end tonight.
Elsewhere on the ice, we have two other games still going on. Looks like red bumps into yellow. See if that one gets all the way through. Looks like it will.
And just knocked Toledo right out.
Wide draw on sheet 4. Might just stick around.
No, it's a bit too heavy to go out. Or to
It
stay.
could stick in the back.
Or
Looks
not.
like it's sending it all the way. I can never judge it on that side.
You can typically tell about when it reaches the center of the house. And I say typically because I've skipped before and I've been completely wrong. but like for the most part, you can tell.
The official for Sheets 3 and 4 wondering how Sheet 2's game's going to go.
So from our end, it looks like the camera is covering both sheet 2 and sheet 4. We're viewing both of those ends just because they are finishing up right now. MIT has already gone into their 8th end, and these ones are about to go into their skip stones. We can zoom in on one of them and switch back and forth, though.
See with my rapid zoom function. How this sense might bounce up there and do something, but it's like not. As Toledo looks like they're preparing for, or they're waiting for Penn State to deliver the final stone.
Yeah. Okay.
Some narrow draw paths if they want them, but looks like they might get into something more adventurous with the tap back potentially.
I don't think there's really much of an opportunity for a tap back unless you're talking to that about that stone all the way to the left.
Yeah, that's what I would be going with,
But
but
that yellow right there looks like it, unless you hit it like with a direct angle, it might just go straight through. Like, this is not cool in cool math games.
calling a timeout to decide what to do. We'll focus back on sheet 4 to see how their end is going.
Okay, it looks like we are on our thirds right now. This is the third's last stones, and then we're gonna go into skip stones.
Stone looks like it's coming through with some weight. Or not as much. Just sticking around on the wing there might come into play later. Go back and see if they have come to a decision on sheet 2.
That shot in the back of the house did help them keep that one in play, but with that yellow close to the outer 4, it's not going to be of much help. No, they have not.
Still much discussion going on.
Oh, what's happening on sheet 1 right there?
That is just Leo having a huddle.
Ah, not sheet 1, still sheet 2.
Go and check on MIT real quick to see how their end is starting, while Penn State is still deciding what they're wanting to do with their next stone. Looks like a couple stones in the front of the house. The red
Ooh,
one
looks like
coming
they're
in
going
at
straight for a takedown.
redstone coming in blistering pace
Nice shot there, he hit it dead on.
as the stone shooter falls out.
I mean, it looks like they're going for a center draw right
And that's what I would do, build it up while you still can. Or might be
Or
going for the
now.
guard.
A guard. That's choice.
Or
I don't think MIT would want to do anything with that front yellow just because it's guarding their red.
Yeah.
Personally, though, like,
well, if
Yeah.
you build up, is it Minnesota or MIT with red? MIT has the red handles, right?
yeah.
Can you present their game?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Just perhaps.
Yeah, MIT with the red handle might. I'd leave it where it is for now, but see, looks like it's a run back for Minnesota's call.
But Minnesota has to make up at least 2 points in this end to even get a chance at tying, which is going to be interesting, especially with Declan's throw rate. Oh,
Looks like we have come to a decision on sheet 2. Or
I mean, they're holding up
there
a
is a
broom.
decision. There's a broom in place, and the skip is sliding down to this side of the ice.
Oh, we're not even in the. Oh, wait, never mind. I just saw the signs yellow. It's like we're missing the yellow. I love how this just kind of cuts off their heads with the scores. Like, you don't need to see their faces.
Zoom out, see how stone's coming in. Looks like it's slow going here.
Ooh, I don't think it's gonna do what they want.
Might just go through that gap and count for something.
Unless they're going for a guard, but oh,
Still
that
carrying
curled a
through,
lot.
but looks like it'll still staying on the front of the side of the house.
Yeah. Does Penn still have one more? Looks like they do. Okay.
Oh, Penn State trying to figure out what to do with their last stone.
I'm kind of nervous for them. They're taking a lot of time to decide where they want their stones, and they might run out of time, although I can't exactly see their timers.
Go and check in real quick on sheet 4. Oh, lots of stones still around. Oh, looks like only 2 yellows have been removed from play thus far.
Yeah, but it does look like RPI is holding up a single stone.
Yeah. But Yale calculating the angle to see what they might want to do here.
This is such an interesting. This and like the MIT versus Minnesota, they've kept each other's scores so low, which is always fun during a curling game.
Showing that you can either have a draw to keep it close or have the takeout game to keep it close, depending on the
I mean, be
preferences
greedy.
of the teams.
Just be greedy. Come on, like. I mean, like, if it's really risky, obviously don't. But yeah, this is an interesting call though. But wait, never mind. That's Yale. I thought he was RPI, which that would be a horrible shot if you were. Look,
Again, looks like he's calling for hard sweeps. Love facial expressions of just screaming at your front.
I would hate to be on the ice on the sheet next to him right now.
Ooh,
Ooh.
it looks like they might have it, or might be
Oh.
just too much weight, or could stick around. Looks like that was just about the shot they wanted, although they might have to go to a measure.
Oh, yeah, it looks like they are at their final stone.
And I say if you're spending this much time debating it, might as well just call the umpire over to measure. Or it looks like, oh, they still have one more stone. Maybe.
Yellow does? I think red is at 8.
I certainly count 8 red stones and only 7 yellows, but
Okay.
we'll come
So it
back
looks
to
like
them
RPI
later.
still has the shot then.
So you see,
Oop.
oh, looks like they
he
might have
just missed it.
cleared just a little late
Alas.
on the Toledo pen, but it looks like Toledo got 3 more, or 2
Two
more,
more?
shots. Sorry, counting is hard. We'll check back in with
think-
the MIT Minnesota game.
Yep, and it is Toledo 10 to Penn State 6 going into that 8th and final round, so Penn State has a bit of ground to make up if they want to keep it there.
Just 2 stones out wide. As we
Oh,
looks like it might have just bounced off the wall, unfortunately.
I think it scared Declan a little. He
I-
jumped there.
Yeah, Declan was looked like he was lined up just on that wall to just see what happens when it hits.
Yeah, he might have also been tying his shoe. Those curling shoelaces are just like extremely long for no reason. We want to zoom out of it so we can also see Toledo versus Penn State. Oh wait, we should probably go back to sheet 4 and see how
Oh
they do.
yeah, see how their final stone is going. Looks like they're still deliberating. When do you think they're
Oh, I think they called their
discussing?
coach out.
I don't see a coach on ice if there is
The
one.
person with the jacket? Or is that just another
That-
team member?
What is it?
Oh, I think
No,
it was another
yeah.
team member than just wearing a jacket over her t-shirt. I forgot most people actually wear jackets on ice.
Well, I noticed her wear her heavy coat around much of the time. Looks like that is Cecilia, who, yeah, just prefers to stay warm.
Yeah, blame her. It's a bit cold in there sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for skips.
Well, she's the lead, so you're going to be doing a lot of sweeping, but
Assuming your throws are not heavy. Oh, looks like RPI is getting ready to sweep some. Or is it Yale?
Yale might be getting ready to sweep something.
Yeah. Makes
Just
up the
this final
teams.
stone. But it looks like it might be
Ooh.
shorter than T-line, but get 3 people in to sweep it in.
You know, the third person isn't really that effective though, just because of how much.
Now they're going to decide if they want to measure again. And looks like they'll go for a measure. While we have that, we'll see what's going on sheet 1.
Looks like a pretty sad house right now.
Just the one more stone in. Versus getting well underway on sheet 2.
I think right now the most high stakes game is definitely Penn against Toledo, just because of how much ground they have to make up.
Well, MIT and Minnesota are neck and neck on their final end.
Yeah. What color is Penn? You know, I can just check. I don't know why I asked you. Okay, Penn is red. If they manage to, like, get a 6-end game, a 6-stone game. That's some good sweeping there from Minnesota.
Just taps that red. Unfortunately, looks like they wanted to do something with the back stone instead.
I think it just curled a bit too much and died too quick.
The stone sheets at a momentary rest. We'll go check back in on sheet 4. Looks like they cleared house.
Ooh, looks like
but-
they're measuring
Oh,
right now.
and they're measuring right now.
Be lucky.
Looks like they decided that Yellowstone is closer one to give
Awesome.
RPI the 1 point advantage going into the last end.
Was it 1 point or were they at 2?
Oh, I guess they could have scored multiple.
Because there was one that I was kind of iffy on, but
See what score they put on scoreboard here shortly.
the single is always so weird.
Start zooming out. See if we can catch some of the other games.
Oh, their empire is just completely gone. He's just like non-existent. What's happening with right here? Why is everyone down at this side of the ice? Oh, I guess.
Oh, so it's just finished delivering a stone. Overpanned. Apologies. Looks like the official might be walking back and being ready to post the score on sheet 4. As Toledo bumps that stone out. Good
that
shot.
puts him at 2? Oh wait, I don't know if that redstone is closer or not.
I would go with the redstone on
Probably.
the top of the house might be closest, but again, hard to tell from an angle like this.
Rough.
And it looks like it was 1 for RPI and the 7th end to give them that point advantage.
I think based on how many person are we on? Was there a skip for for Penn State. I'm stealing his paper.
So I'm posting the score.
Oh, I think we're on Skip's. No, I thought he was out. Oh, did we get the final score?
Yes, we did get that score on sheet 4.
Yes.
Move back over.
So 4-3 RPI to Yale going into the 8th, and that one's going to be really tense for them. You think they're just pushing that one back a bit?
On sheet 2, you're saying?
Yeah.
Or might be trying to just get through is what it looks like it'll wind up doing.
They just have a nice little line of 3 stones right there. Oh, it looks like Minnesota and MIT are on skip stones right now. I think they might get their final shot.
Looks like, yeah, this might be the last stone of the MIT Minnesota game. But
Ooh.
Minnesota needing to score 2.
And considering there's 2 red in the house, I don't think that's possible.
The only thing I could think of is if you
Like hit and roll, like knows that one back.
I would see if I could tap the yellow stone out front into the red stone, such that it deflects back this way, although that'd be difficult, and then also have your stone carry on and just have 2 stones moving in side by side. I don't know.
So
if
we're
the
doing
physics-
a bowling split. Got it. Okay, let's see how this one plays out.
We'll see what they're doing. It's definitely a tough shot, whatever it is they are having to call. It's sweeping
Looks
hard.
like it might be a takeout weight.
Yeah, I definitely want heavyweight on it.
Oh, it looks like they are going for that exact shot. Nice call.
It's the only thing I could think of. Unfortunately, not quite enough angle there. So, they might get the 1 point, but does not get enough game. So,
So it looks like MIT is our winner for this game.
we'll
So
get
that-
to final score later.
So this just leaves us with Penn State, Toledo, Yale, and RPI playing on sheets 2 and 4.
The other type of Zoom where you actually went to pan. We'll try that next. Just so you can see sheet 2's near house here and see them deliver on sheet 4 as we come to the conclusion of sheet 2's game.
Did they put up a score for?
Looks like they're still waiting on a final score for the MIT Minnesota game.
I mean, they might have put a 4 there. That American flag is very in the way. That is some heavy sweeping for Toledo. I don't think it's gonna make it into the house though. It might stop just before.
Looks like there might be something on the ice they're wishing to remove.
We did find some rubber on there earlier today. Granted, that was way early.
That was during practice, easy for things to get on the ice during all that confusion.
That's a better time for things to get on the ice.
We want to, of course, thank our ice crew for preparing the ice for us.
Oh, they
Lots of work going into it, scraping every game.
Did you see just like the mountain of like snow after the end of scrapes? Like scraping, like they had to use the dustpan multiple times. Oh, that was great.
Also want to thank Rice Lake Curling Club and all of the volunteers here running a good Spiel and the Scorement. We have dispatched some people to find final score just to be told they won.
It's like we can definitely see they won. We would rather find this.
Just got a final score for sheet 1. Looks like it was 5-4 in favor of MIT.
It's a very disappointing loss. I like the close ones are the good games, but it's still a lot more hurtful when it's close. At least when you get like 7 points behind, you know you're gonna lose. But that
Well, I always like to at least put up a game, like, after losing so many hard games at RIT Bonspiel. Lots of devastating losses for our team.
you do got to keep up that curling spirit though, because if you just kind of zone out of the game, you don't find as much enjoyment in it.
Yeah. We'll check in briefly on how sheet 4 is going as they're delivering a stone.
Looks like RPI is up 2 currently and going for.
Interesting idea. It could be, with that one, could be going to bump that redstone out of the way, or just
But that-
continuing the guards. Does not look like that was the shot they wanted.
That just died, but it does serve as a guard so they can't bump in the right of it.
Yeah, does make it more difficult if you want to do something with the redstone, although I would be playing with the more open back stones if I was the skip.
Yeah, I think it depends on how well played that side of the ice is. Because if it's not that well played, you're not going to get that much curl. Or is it the other way around?
Well, it was at that wall side. It looks like it comes into play towards the end of the game, but towards the front of the game, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen to stones you send down that side.
Yeah.
Takes experts to learn how to read the ice.
And we are college curlers.
Well, it's learning to read the ice. Whoever gets to read the ice better first will have the advantage.
That is how it goes. Statistically speaking, the first and second ends are some of the most important to determine how the game goes, even if you're only getting 1 point.
We have Cypress, our applied stats major,
Feel?
who has been doing a lot of data crunching on college curling. Any interesting results you'd like to share with us?
Well, my data is slightly biased because often in normal Bonspiels we don't get past the 6th end. But in college curling, the hammer is completely irrelevant.
I remember at the Happy Valley Bonspiel, we were intentionally playing without hammer, just the way that sheet was going.
Honestly, fair.
There was a Zamboni line just lined up that we could play one-dimensional curling, which favors the team without hammer.
Yeah, that would do it.
Go back, probably getting to close to the end on
Ooh, I
sheet
think
2.
they actually might have finished. I don't see any more stones.
See,
So it looks like the skip just went to go to grab
Yeah.
his grader.
but I mean, what else is there to do but measure at this point? I'd say, unless there is a stone to
Yellow, 'cause
deliver.
It looks like that red is still in that, like, still slightly.
Oh, they still have a stone down there. It's just hiding. It's not set up in the hack, is what I'm reading. Next to the yellow scraper. See what you think Penn State has to go with here.
Oh, there is one more stone. I'm blind. I love that.
It was. That stone is the hide and go seek champion for this draw.
Well, there we go. So it's Penn State with the final.
Penn State with one last stone.
Ooh, that's gonna be a tough shot. What do we think they're going for?
I don't know what. With the bit of the house blocked by the curlers on the ice, but other than that, it's going to be difficult whatever they're throwing with
Oh.
all those stones in the house.
That looks heavy.
Probably taking something out.
But what is there to take out that would benefit them?
I mean, they have to take stones out. I guess Penn State needs to score a lot to
It's a
get
lovely
back.
little guard there.
Get you a final score on that game later, but if I had to make my guess, I think Toledo was able to eke out that win here.
I believe so too.
That leaves us with one final sheet still in play, sheet 4, as I overpan the camera. I'll cheat this way just so I can see that scoreboard. And looks like Toledo got 2 stones in at that last end to make the final score 12-6 on sheet 2. Good curling to both.
So looking at this, if you were Yale, what would your call be?
Well, what is it? They only have to get 1 here to get the force.
Get the fourth?
Well, yeah, force the final end, excuse me. Trying to think and talk at
Yes,
the
we
same
are in
time.
Star Wars.
Well,
Ooh,
what is it?
that's
If you could use the force to affect a curling stone, would you not?
well, no, that kind of just takes all the fun out of it.
I guess that is fair.
Plus, well, how would they regulate that? Do you think if there was curling in the Star Wars universe, how do you think they'd regulate using the Force on the stones?
I think that's a separate league. You have the force sensitive and the non-force sensitive league, just to keep it fair.
Just like there's a whole bunch of people tuned into the Force during championships just to make sure no one's cheating.
That's it.
You think RBI is going for a draw here?
Yeah, they have those 2 in the back, get a button draw and force them to do something. Just close it down here.
It looks like that stone might die.
Or it might do something to that rear red stone. It looks like it's too slow and too wide to do anything significant.
I mean, with enough sweeping, technically speaking, I think Yale could have hit it out. That's technically.
Oh, what's they cooking up here? Looks like it's a tap back is the plan.
Why are they running? So I thought we told them no head injuries this week.
Well, given they're the last game going, they might be a little short on thinking time.
Oh,
I know we were in a bit of a hustle at the end.
didn't even think about that, yeah. Hey, they could just let RPI run out. That would be such bad curling, though.
Well, at least you control your own. If you want the thinking time to stop, just hut stone. You need to see more like the spike in football.
Oh,
Looks like that's not quite.
that was so
They
close. That
wanted-
was such a nice hit.
I
And then it wasn't.
see what goes on for this next one, as they still have 1 stone remaining, as well as RPI's final stone that they were getting ready to throw. Looks like alright.
Yale had hammer this.
Yale does have hammer, and they have 1 stone after this.
Oh, it's R. For some reason, I just thought RPI just threw that stone. I don't know.
Looks like RPI is trying to guard up any funny business with that front stone.
So I think their only chance would be to go for a draw or like a tap back from going from the right side. Dude, I swear I need a tattoo of left and right.
I
'Cause I get them mixed up.
I would just mix it up and accidentally have to reverse left and right in my mind forever.
No, it's rough because the skip will be like coming from the right, and I'm like, what direction is that again?
I need stage right and stage left, as the skip views it from the opposite end of the sheet from the front ends.
Okay, so it looks like what? Hale is on their last stone. No. Yes.
Final stone of tonight. Make it a good one.
So, and it looks like RPI is currently shot 2. So unless they can manage to hit 2 stones in, they might just be at a loss to RPI tonight.
Well,
Or I guess they only need
they
one.
just need one to force the extra end.
Who had hammer originally? You don't know either. Okay.
Trying to add this to your stats project again.
Well, no. I'll go through this later.
Uh,
I feel weird, like, cataloging people's scores at
now
Nationals.
remembering, it was Minnesota had hammer, Toledo had hammer, Michigan Tech had hammer, RPI had hammer to start.
Ooh. So yeah, they need to get 2 in, because if they don't, then RPI automatically wins.
No, hammer. If they'll force the extra end, and it's just who has hammer has the advantage, but it'll be an extra
Oh, I
end.
thought LSD also determined tiebreakers.
I guess I did not read too closely tiebreaker rules, although I would not like to decide the tiebreaker before the game starts.
That would be horrible.
Might just be skip stones,
I
but
Yeah, I don't know the process at Nationals.
it would. I would think it would about have to be an extra end.
Definitely gonna have to look that up after this. Well, no, I don't think they get to do an extra end just because of the time
I
limits.
think you get extra time usually, but the event procedures document did not give us too much detail
Imagine-
about timing.
Each team only has like 2 to 3 minutes left, and you have to play a full end with that.
2 to 3 minutes, you'll be tight, but you can do that. Stone coming in. Oh, might be. Oh, just too hard. That was so well lined
Oh
up.
no, I think RPI might be up 4 on this.
Well, fortunately, all that matters is who wins, not the final score overall. But looks like the officials are awarding them 4 points.
Yeah. Okay, and so for our final game tonight, we had RPI with a win of 8 to Yale with 3. Good
Recap.
curling, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Just to recap all your other scores, MIT had 5 against Minnesota's 4. Penn State had 6, losing to Toledo having 12. Michigan Tech won 12-3 after 6 ends. And once again, RPI's 8, Yale's 3. We'd like to thank you all for coming and chatting with us tonight. Hope to see you bright and early tomorrow as you here on RAT, obviously.
Okay.
Good curling.
curling.